Let's cover ways to configure Kiri Moto, like classroom settings, or you want to save your settings. Say you've got the perfect setup for your 3D printer, your SLA printer, your laser cutter, your CNC mill. You want to preserve all that. You've invested some time in settings. What you do is, the simplest way is to enable expert mode and then click on export under setup. And that will then create a download file. This download file can be taken anywhere and then re-imported into Kiri in another browser. And if you drag it onto the platform, you'll see it turns green, and it'll ask you if you want to re-import your settings. It'll do so and then refresh the page. So if you've mucked up something after you've saved this, gone to another mode, selected the wrong device, done something like that, and then you want to recover it, you can always just drag that on and it will recover the settings that you had when I created that, because in this case I had FDM mode selected when I created that. The other possibility for creating settings in like a classroom environment is through a URL configuration. And so again, if I have this set up the way that I want it, I can use the Shift U or uppercase U hotkey, and that'll create a unique settings ID which you can then share around and give to other people. It will also modify the URL with that as a hashtag, hash code at the end of the URL. You can copy that URL, and then in the future, anytime you open a browser with this URL, you'll see that it consumes the text ending and then reloads the page, and then it has restored the settings the same way before. So again, in the future, if I ever open this URL in a browser, it is going to reload those settings. And so you can put that on a classroom computer and always have them be able to reload a page and restore settings if they're screwed up. There are a couple of other interesting things you can do on the URL, is that you can add the different modes. So if I put a mode, for example, like cam in here, you'll see that it locks it into the cam mode and I don't have access to the other modes. So I can do that for FDM and SLA and what have you. If you put it in invalid mode, so you'll see this down here, it's references in the lower left. If I put it in an invalid mode that doesn't exist, it'll always refer to FDM by default. The other thing you can do, in addition to locking it in a mode, is you can add a device. You can put in dev colon and then a given device, and it will actually switch and lock it into that device. And this is, again, good for classrooms where you want to lock a mode and a device and not have the UI reflect the ability to change that. So once you've locked it into a mode and locked it into a device, the menus for that and the hotkeys for that are all then disabled, and you're not going to be able to go into any other modes. So I hope that helps your classroom setup. This is referenced in the wiki, by the way. Not all of it, but the mode and then device setups are particularly useful for those things. So again, let me know if there are changes or extensions to this that would be helpful for you, and I hope you found it useful. Thanks.